All right, I'm going to call to order the 2026-2027 fiscal year budget committee meeting. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a roll call, please.
Member Whitchurch. Here. Member Kosel.
Here.
Member Brackenridge.
Here.
Member Sanarov.
Here via Zoom.
Member Cross.
Here.
Member Fowl.
Here.
Member Ott.
Here.
Member Donahue.
Here.
Member Eater.
Here.
Member Astorga is absent. Member Hofer.
Here.
And member Bullock.
Here. I would like to open nominations to elect a budget committee chair for this year.
Nominate Christy Brackenridge, please.
I'll second. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Would you like to make a motion to close the nominations?
We have to have a second on my nomination first. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Okay, move that the nominations be closed.
Sorry about your luck, champ. All right, hearing no others, all those in favor of electing member Brackenreed to the committee chair position for the 26-27 fiscal year. We have a roll call.
Member Bullock.
Aye.
Member Whitchurch.
Aye.
Member Kosel.
Aye.
Member Brackenreed. No, you vote nay. Member Sanarov.
Aye.
Member Cross.
Aye.
Member Fowl.
Aye.
Member Ott.
Aye.
Member Donahue.
Aye.
Member Eater.
Aye.
Member Astorga is absent. Member Hofer.
Aye.
Sorry, I didn't hear my name.
Oh, I called it when you were talking, I think,
Oh.
but I thought you said no.
Oh, no.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Did it pass?
Should be.
Okay, so our first order of business is to hear any public comments. So if any attendee in the audience or online wishes to make a public comment, please make yourself known by stating your name. And then you will have 3 minutes to make your comments. Do we have anyone here? No. What about online?
No.
Okay. So moving on, we will, Tara will deliver, oh no, excuse me, Mark Daniel, city manager, is going to deliver the budget message and highlights.
I was gonna ask, since the budget message is about 3.5 pages long, do you need me to read it word for word? I'll be happy to do that. Otherwise, it's right here in the book. I can provide it.
Sounds good, okay.
Thank you.
Moving on then to turn the floor over to Tara, the finance director, to review the budget.
All right, so before we get started, we would like to submit one change before approval. So if you want to open your budget document to page 67. This is under water funds. Alan got word that one of our wells, and I don't remember which one, is experiencing or is pulling up a bunch of sediment. And well 6. So he would like to increase account 2525-62730, which is system maintenance and repairs. He wants to increase that $7,000 to $57,000. In order to do that, then we have to go down to contingency, second line from the bottom, and increase the $48,000 to $57,000 as well. which reduces the following line, reserved for future expense, to $710,142. And so far, that's the only change that we've gotten since we produced this. I sent out an explanation of changes to you all by email. I'm not sure if you would also want me to read through it page by page. You can let me know. Or if you're good.
We may have some questions about some of these.
Okay, but you don't need me to read it.
No.
Okay. So then we can either go over questions about that, or I can read through the proposed budget question.
Close this up.
Huh?
Let's just close it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So does anybody have any questions on the explanation of changes or need further clarification?
Those are my questions for later on when we get the questions, I guess.
So the well that's going bad, is that 5?
No, it's well 6. It's not necessarily going bad. It's just pulling up sand and sediment. So that 50,000 is to pull the turbine and scope it.
Basically just diagnostics
Yeah.
to find out what's wrong.
Mhm.
Is that the one over in Hubbard Park?
No, Mount Angel Highway.
Oh, okay. I just wondered, I had to change my filter twice this last couple of weeks, and I was wondering if maybe something happened.
No, it's just pulling up sand. We noticed that when we were flushing hydrants, so.
Okay.
But there was turbidity that was stirred up as a result of them flushing hydrants. So,
Yeah,
so that likely changed the color of your water and probably.
well, that's kind of what I thought, because it kind of happened around the same time they were flushing hydrants.
Okay, so does anybody have questions on anything that was laid out in there?
No, okay, that's page 45.
Okay.
And looking at the retirement benefits. Look like, so. The roles have gone up substantially from previous budget actual. I'm assuming a lot of that's due to the union contracts and wage increases over this past year that were approved.
So in my explanation of changes, I specifically say the rate increase, the rate of increase in retirement benefits was due to 2 factors. Last year, we didn't budget the correct PERS rate. We forgot to increase it for the biennium, so that was one reason why the current year is lower. And then yes, because of the union hourly rate increase.
So my question is, going forward, we shouldn't see such large increases as we have in this budget.
Correct. I would say unless we duplicate another large rate increase or wage increase, no, we shouldn't.
Yeah, those are pretty much defined for the next 2 years, right?
Correct. Yes, we're only doing a 5% over the next 2 years. Yep. Any other questions? Before we move on to the other questions that were submitted by. And then after I go over this, the floor will be open for any other questions that we haven't decided. Did anybody not get a chance to read this ahead of the meeting that you want me to read it? No, okay, I'm getting no. All right, so I'm not gonna read over this either, but if there's any follow-up questions to submitted questions and answers, let me know. Or I'll open the floor to any questions you have.
I do have a question on the money that moved from the capital outlay from last year to capital improvement program. So in the capital improvement program, I think I've seen the word earmarked. Once it gets in that capital improvement program, but is that money now untouchable, or can we still, if under certain considerations, emergencies, whatever, can move it back or into other uses, other purposes.
Yeah, it is movable. The reason we chose to make this type of fund is because we didn't want to lock our money in. And we wanted to have that freedom if something comes up or council's priorities change, we can reassign it.
So the main reason for doing it is to make it movable. Is that what I just heard?
Well, we didn't do it as a reserve fund because reserve fund, you can only use it for that specific purpose and you can't change it. And you have to review it every 10 years. And so it's as locked in as you can make it, but still have the freedom to say, gosh, we had an emergency, a building, or we had a massive water leak that we don't have the funds for. We're going to do an interfund loan to the water fund and use that money that way.
Does that have to go before council for approval?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. If something happens that is not reflected in here, we always have to bring it back to council.
I had a question. So on page 47, I asked this question in email. I just wanted some clarification. I asked about the subdivision on Academy Street. And I think you indicated that just didn't make the printing of the budget.
Correct.
So it's going to be in this year's budget.
Well, we could add it as an accomplishment. But there's nothing to add to the budget other than it was an accomplishment for the 25-26.
Okay, so there's no cost to the city.
No, it's only revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question on page 80. Talking about Railroad Avenue reconstruction, but there's talks about the last lines, the street fund will feel the tightest squeeze or resources. It will not be able to complete any large scale projects for a few years until resources are built back up. Okay, sounds good. So I guess just I like to see some streets paved when I'm here and just don't even think about it for the next few years. Is that what I'm hearing?
Like always.
How many years might that be?
Well, I'm saying large scale projects like to the tune of another $1 million project. There's easily projects that we can do with another SDA grant. The SDA grants are $250,000, so we don't have to match any of those funds. But we can add to the scope of the project by adding our own money. So I'm just saying that we won't be able to do another $1.6 million project is what I'm saying. And we don't even know yet the bids for this project, so it may not come in at 1.6 million. That would be lovely. Be nice if it was a lot less, but hopefully at least it's not more.
How long would it take to generate $1.6 million?
Probably
5 years.
at least three to 5 years, depending on if we did any other small projects in the meantime. And how many grants, like we're $750,000 of this 1.6 million is grants, so. If we did it on our own, it would be longer than 5 years.
In this budget, there's a couple of comments that talked about the stress on the budget. Due to a few reasons you've already mentioned. What are we looking for? What are we looking at in the future from that stress? Is that still going to be stressful next year or the year after, or our revenue is going to increase to kind of waylay that stress on the budget in future?
I anticipate that the sooner these two subdivisions come online and start paying taxes, it will keep pace, help us keep pace, and we won't feel the stress. But you know, the economy can change So I think once we get past some of these larger projects and, once we get the rate setting and things, I think we'll feel a little bit better about what we've got and. You know, we also have to plan for City Hall, so that can also add stress. So each year is its own unique set of circumstances. But I don't think we're going in a bad direction in any means.
Maybe others got the email, but council's got the email that I can't remember where it was from. It talked about something in Congress, a bill is being looked at that has to do with the infrastructure for broadband and stuff in franchise fees. And we did read that, and that it sounded like if this goes through, our franchise fees might go down.
Oh,
Well, we have contracts, but we'll have to wait and see. And that email did come out from the League of Oregon Cities. And I was actually requested by the League of Oregon Cities to contact our congressman, which is what I did, and urge her to vote no. And we actually have a pretty good relationship now, especially since she's interested in giving us $1.457 million.
Yeah. No, I Googled it and it said it's pretty up in the air whether it passes or not. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I saw that thing where they wanted to change what they're paying us. Franchise fees and never be there.
But we're in the same position as every other community in the state of Oregon. So I think we've got at least something to say about it. And we will have had our say before Congress takes action.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
and I can speak to some of our franchise fees. The only ones that are going up are the ones that are increasing rates, which is PGE, Northwest Natural, and gas. The other ones, we continue to lose revenue on regardless.
Lose
Like our revenue for telephone and internet continues.
is that their revenues are going down, or why would we be losing? Or
I can say for the telephone, because I think, yes, sales for telephone are going down. But why isn't internet going up? I don't know. I don't know the industry well enough to speak to that.
do you can tell what is it based on? What is the fee based on?
Their revenue, but I don't know what parts of that revenue. I don't know what's considered franchisable on the internet side.
I got a couple of questions. Page 55, we do not have a maintenance worker,
Correct.
and we're not gonna hire a maintenance worker.
No, they pretty much do the same work, whether they're a maintenance worker or not. So a maintenance worker is just an employee in the public works department that doesn't have a CDL.
So but we're still down a maintenance worker, we're not down one.
We're not down any.
But it does say, maintenance worker 0.
Because we have positions that we are choosing not to fill because we're already at staff. So we are fully staffed, but we have a position.
We have a title. We have a title. I could have removed that box very easily.
Okay. Then my question would have been, is that budget if that position gets filled, but that position is not gonna get filled?
That position would only get filled if somebody left. And we couldn't hire somebody with a CDL.
Another question, I think within the binder, it said there was 750,000 in the city hall replacement. On this sheet, it says 800.
Oh, my apologies. It's
So it is
800.
800.
Mhm.
No more was being added to that, or that
That's $50,000 more than we had set aside for the current fiscal year.
50,000 more.
Mhm.
So we added 50,000.
Mhm.
Okay.
But we're also planning to spend 45,000 this year. So technically, if you added that in, it would be 95.
Page 57. And it's also on this 2-page handout, but the Softwell Health building maintenance, so we plan on spending, or is that just in a fund? to
It's
be
just in
spent?
a fund for future, that got moved to the new capital improvement fund on 60 and 61. And the money earmarked for Sawfeld is only in future. So it's in a reserve on page 61, it's in a reserve for future, 30,300. But we have nothing planned this year.
So my question is, and Mayor Donplek, back one day say that the city is not in the business of owning buildings. And my question is, and we would go with the senior center, is there any way we could get rid of those?
Anything is possible. But I would want to sell them at market price.
Because
It's the right thing to do for the community.
but you probably know they're not gonna buy it at market price.
I don't know.
If you want to see those two buildings continue their current use, the only path forward to that is maintain ownership through the city.
We've negotiated a very comfortable lease for the senior center.
But I mean, the lease is not paying probably for our portion of building maintenance, is it? Or like the soft house.
So we've got a significant amount starting to save for the softball house. And I don't know what we've got for the senior center off the top of my head.
It's closer than it was.
Is there any other funding going to the Sawfield House, like it's a historical society part of that, or doing anything with that?
They have put a lot of their own money into that building. Yep.
To the tune of about
As a matter of fact,
$200,000, I believe.
the renovations that they wanted to do really in the last 2 years, they paid for it completely themselves.
And that's not part of the city, the historical society is not
No.
the city.
No,
And the house was donated to the city.
it belongs to the city, yeah. It's a city property. Including the house and the garage.
That's just my thoughts.
Thank you.
We see.
Let's go, Ray.
What?
Go, let's go. What's the next one?
I'm looking at
Stick
that.
around for him.
Yeah, so we're gonna purchase 2 new leases,
On.
police
For,
department.
Yep, we've got several cars that are well over 100,000 miles. But well over that. And we'll be replacing it.
Okay. And how much are the leases?
That's a great question.
Great effort.
No, because, that's the thing, I'm trying to figure that out right now. It costs more for a police SUV now than it ever has. I got a quote recently for the upfitting, so I know in the ballpark what the upfitting costs. But I don't know yet what the vehicle's gonna cost or the availability. Even the availability to upfit police vehicles is a year and a half out, I'm told, by the upfitter. So we're looking at a variety of different options. There are companies across the country that have
Please schedule.
parking lots, fields full of cars and trucks that are already upfit, and they are having for sale. So I'm researching that, but on every Facebook group and every imaginable place, shopping and looking and writing down, and trying to find time to contact them and see what this is.
So the 2, all those vehicles are leased, correct?
No,
That,
we have no leases right now, no.
well,
We own
they've
them.
expired, so we own them.
We own everything. Yep.
So what happens to the car once we update it?
The old cars that are retired, get sold.
Okay.
And that money goes back to the general fund.
And there will be more cars as time goes on,
Yes,
because they weren't all leased at the same time, I know that,
Yeah.
definitely.
and they're staggered and they have been for years.
Okay.
And speaking of the police department, so we are budgeting for 7 officers again,
Yes, sir.
and are we any closer to getting those extra 2 or?
As a matter of fact, we're, Sergeant Lopez is just finishing with one background investigation. As soon as I get the paperwork and get a chance to read it and see where we're at, the likely thought is that I'll be offering him a contingent offer. And then he'll move on to the psych, physical and urine drug screen. And I'm hoping that if everything is successful, we'll be able to hire that individual probably within the next 30 days. Second one just moved into background just this week. So he is working with Sergeant Lopez right now, getting all the information that we need. In fact, the first background took, George and I talked about it yesterday, 18 days, which is flying on police backgrounds. The second one is likely to take maybe that much, if not less. So we should be, I hope, hiring somebody within the next 30 to 60 days, have both of those positions filled as soon as possible. And I currently sit at the board at DPSST. I had a board meeting today. The director tells me that we'll be able to get people in the academy in likely less than 30 days. So as soon as they walk in the door, hopefully within a couple of weeks, we'll have them in Salem at the academy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one more.
Okay.
When was the street master plan updated? Or how do we arrive at these 300% increases?
Oh, actually, that might be, is there not a date at the top?
At page 83.
Yeah, no, that was back when we had, West Tech. Because I believe it's early 19 something
For the master plan?
for the street master.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we call it transportation plan.
Right.
I don't, it's old.
PSP.
Yeah.
System plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that we're gonna do for that. As council.
But how did they arrive, or how did this?
I reached out to the engineer, Steve, and I said, Steve, what would you add to get these to costs? And that 300% is 5 years old.
The 300% is 5 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, and they could be, I don't know what these projects would cost today, if these, the 300% is close or not.
Well, the answer to your question, Jack, you won't see any more streets, maybe.
Well, as a counselor, I would like to see some street project in
We would.
budget that is not that far off from today.
We would too. And we're gonna keep going after grants and every opportunity to get some money out of the federal government and or the state. And so far, we've actually been pretty successful. And yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
I just speaking of grants and stuff, the project that we have across the tracks. Is that going to start this? I mean, when is the actual work going to start? Do we have any idea?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Railroad Avenue.
Yeah, we actually had a meeting with Marion County just this week. And it looks like we're actually gonna be able to put it to bed very, very soon.
Very soon. Yeah, the documents are being under review right now. With HUD, right?
I think Marion County has a grant reviewer, and they said they would likely get back to us by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And let us know that it either our bid book or needed to be updated to conform with the 2 grants, or it was good to go, which then goes back to the engineer to
Go out to.
advertise, yeah. So we want
Might
to,
happen this budget year.
it is happening.
What is happening?
It will hopefully, well, what we'd love to happen is the contractor to get us some invoices before June 30th. So we can pay for some of it in the current year and in this budget. but it's likely that it all will be in this budget. Cause they have to do meetings and planning meetings and.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
It'll be in this
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably.
second bid period mobilization or contract execution.
Right.
We're gonna move during Oktoberfest.
We might. Local track like one.
Here's the time that feds on
Are there any other questions for Tara?
them.
No? So can we move on? Okay, so, I will now open the public hearing to accept comment on the use of state shared revenues at 7:32 PM. Has anybody joined us from the public since we started?
No, I have had nobody join.
Okay, I am now going to close the public hearing at 7:33 PM. Okay, and then moving on, we can entertain some motions for finishing this budget up. So of the options are, we can confirm a meeting date for continued deliberations if we need to, or we can move to approve the budget and end it tonight.
I'd like to move to approve the budget as submitted, subject to the changes that Alan had mentioned earlier.
Do we have to approve the ad valorem rate first, or can we do that second?
I think as long as they're both done, I'm not sure that it matters what order.
It doesn't matter, I don't believe. As long as they both get done.
Yep.
Okay, so second,
Second.
okay. And then we need to take a roll or a vote.
I didn't look up though, that second was.
That was me.
That was.
And we're doing C. Taking a roll call for C.
Member Astorga is absent. Member Hofer. Aye. Member Bullet.
Aye.
Member Whitchurch.
Aye.
Member Kozel.
Aye.
Member Brackenreed.
Aye.
Member Sanarov.
Aye.
Member Cross.
Aye.
Member Bow.
Aye.
Member Ott.
Aye.
Member Donahue.
Aye.
And member Eater.
Nay. There it is.
I already had it right.
Okay, and then moving on, can I make the motion? Or do I need to?
I'll move to approve an ad valorem rate of 4.1918 per 1,000 of assessed value to be certified for collection to Marion County.
For a second,
Second.
so moved by Mayor Fowl and second by Schultz. Okay, and then take a vote.
Member Hofer. Aye. Member Bullet.
Aye.
Member Whitchurch.
Aye.
Member Kozel.
Aye.
Member Brackenreed.
Aye.
Member Sanarov.
Aye.
Member Cross.
Aye.
Member Fowl.
Aye.
Member Ott.
Aye.
Member Donahue.
Aye.
Member Eater.
How do they vote? Aye.
You should say that loud. Member Astorga is absent.
Okay, so I am going to adjourn the meeting of the 26-27 budget at 7:35 PM.